Agents, I am swinging over to you today, and I want to talk about how to defend your commission. But I don't want to just give you the classic paradox of a seller is asking you if you will reduce your commission to test you to simply find out how you will respond in negotiations regarding their house. I actually don't fully wholeheartedly believe that 100% of sellers who ask you that, I don't think that they are testing your negotiation skills. I genuinely think that they want a deal. And I think they're trying to figure out if your service is worthy of the 3% or if they don't feel like you are worth it. So this is going to be a little bit of a roundabout way, but I want to explain to you my thought process on why I don't go below 2.5%. So first and foremost, we have your foundation as an individual. Who you are as an individual in your personal life overflows to how you run your business and who you are as a business person and the CEO and founder of your little real estate business. Don't be offended that I said little. Like, you're not a brokerage, you're just running a business, right? So what does the foundation, what does that comprise of? It comprises of your support system, your relationship with money, your experience, whether it's in negotiating or real estate, transactionally, just that realm, and your priorities. So I just want to go over all of these. I want to touch on them a little bit. So let's start with your relationship with money. Our entire job is to talk about money. And I can't tell you how many real estate agents I have talked to over the years that have flat out said, I don't like talking about money. I'm like, then you're in the wrong industry. Because not only are we talking about money, we are talking about very large sums of money. We are talking about large sums of money that can be fought over when it comes to the earnest money. There is so much money involved in real estate. And then you have to talk about your commission. And if you're uncomfortable to talk about a purchase price or why a seller should accept a low offer or why a buyer should increase their offer, how on earth are you going to be able to talk about why a seller should pay you and why you're valuable? So I do believe that if you do not feel worthy of making a lot of money, of being successful, of working with high net worth people, you need to fix and work on that wound that you have and you work on your relationship with money, because that will show. Somebody who is seasoned negotiator, seasoned business person, seasoned real estate investor who's bought and sold over 50 homes, you will look like a novice. You will look like a green amateur because you can't talk about money. So while I would say simultaneously or in tandem, when you're trying to heal your own wounds, which you can get like, what's it called? Where's my phone? I think it's called Insight Timer. That's what it's called. It's called Insight Timer. They have a free version. You could do EFT tappings. You can do meditations. You can go find so many free ways to try and start healing your relationship with money. There's plenty of books to read about it, because if you can start to heal that while you're listening to your high net worth clients or your very experienced clients who are telling you what to say, having an open mind and soaking in what they have to say like a sponge will help shape you and will help guide you and put you on the path to being much more comfortable to talk about money, because they're not afraid to talk about money. So that's number one. Your relationship with money is so important, and it's a huge part of the foundation of who you are, which obviously stems from childhood. Number two, I'm going to say your support system in the sense of your significant other and or your family. So the reason why I say this is because after doing this for 18 years, I have had quite a few boyfriends, and I will give two examples. One boyfriend I had after we went on vacation, granted it was 2020 and 2021, which means we had the busiest 2 years of my life and probably in history of real estate, right? Well, after we got back from vacation, he said, if this is what every vacation is going to be like with you, I'm not really interested in dating you anymore. I want to go away with you and enjoy our time away. And what was that like for him? It was him experiencing everything alone, because I was negotiating I think it was DeAndre Hopkins deal, the football player, $5 million deal. I couldn't say no. That's a huge deal. I committed myself to that before we went on the trip. Every single meal, every single thing we did, like a sip of beer, another text, a sip of beer, another email, a sip of beer, another call. Like I was constantly stepping away. And I didn't really necessarily want to be doing that. It's just my job. It's part of who I am. It's a priority to me. It's just a non-negotiable. Like I'm representing this person. I need to make sure I'm available. I can be on vacation and not in an office because I'm available. On the contrary, my current boyfriend, he is so supportive. He completely understands and lives by the motto, business first. Earlier this year, his mother was in town from Serbia. So she's in town. We have a whole day planned. I kid you not. We get out of the car. We're in downtown Miami. We all open our doors. We just parked and I get a text and it says, I want to submit an offer. The offer is for $5.75 million. Okay. I didn't have my computer. Of course, I was a little bit disappointed that I had to leave the family outing, but we're standing there and I'm on one side of the car and he's on the other side of the car. And I said, listen, we'll just say Joe. Joe wanted me to submit that offer at the 1. Like, I got to go. And he goes, okay, no problem. Just go. And I'll get the tickets for the tour a little bit later. Just tell me what time you think and come back whenever you can. No rush. That is the difference between your support system. One made me feel so guilty that I was working and I wasn't spending time with him. And that didn't feel very good because then I'm trying to rush off my calls. I'm trying to make sure that I'm available to somebody who, yes, we have a trip planned, but like I said, I made a commitment to this transaction before we left. And on the other hand, I have somebody who tells me, no rush, go take your time. We will revolve our schedule around you, which in turn makes me say, okay, well, if I can't make it back, I still want you to go and have a good time. You give what you get and you get what you give. And when you're working together, I know that I'm not going to be in trouble for going to work. And that's huge, especially in this industry, which I'm going to skip over experience and move into priorities real quick. If you do not make your business number 1, I hate to say it, you're probably not going to succeed. Your business needs to supersede every single decision, right? You want to go to the gym? Well, you better go at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Because if you have a busy day and you start getting in your phone and it's 7 a.m. and you don't make it to the gym that day, that's on you. But that's also because you didn't get up early enough. Your priorities will show through to your clients because your actions will tell them how important they are, how important your business is. You need to understand where everything lies, what's important, what's not, what can you forego. I know that I have to have a certain type of morning. And during COVID, I was going to bed at 11:30 and waking up at 3:30 because I needed to be at the gym by 5 a.m. or I was not getting a workout in because we were so busy. But that trained me. So that was 2020. I'd already started waking up in 2018 and 19. I probably already started waking up at 5. So I moved this to a 3:30 to 4 a.m. wake up time. It's not fun. I don't like it or enjoy it, but it was my only time that I had to myself. And because that's my only time, I got used to it. And so now if I wake up at 5:30, I feel like my day is gone because that's my only alone time that I have with myself for myself. I can sit in my chair and order Amazon. I can shop on Facebook Marketplace. I can put a YouTube script together. Like, it's uninterrupted time. I don't need to be around my phone because nobody's calling me unless I'm working with somebody in a different country. That'll be the only time. But that's a priority to me. I look forward to my morning. And because I look forward to my morning, that means my evenings have to reflect a non-drinking evening, a not late evening. And I need to be in bed by a certain time in order to wake up to have my special morning and to get the gym in so that I can be home and in the shower between 7:30 and 8 to be at my desk by 9 o'clock. That's my priority. You have to know what you want to do every day. How do you lead generate? How are you showing up every day for your business? And this is part of the foundation, right? So let's go into the last piece, which doesn't need a lot of explanation, but it's going to be your experience in negotiating, your experience with the city. If you're brand new to a city, you better start going out, learning all about it, whatever that is, whether that's lifestyle, restaurants, neighborhoods, HOAs, whatever it is. Document it along the way, get people involved and invested in your life and your journey. Maybe it's just your experience with transactions, with sales in general, with the lingo of a real estate transaction. There is so much that goes into confidence that stems from your experience. And unfortunately, the only way you can get experience in this industry is by actually going out and getting the clients, not relying on a team lead to send you business or referrals to send you business. Social media, going to a bar, yes, all of that is a way to get business, but actual real estate business is what leads to more business. All right, now that we're out of the foundation section, I want to talk about how you need to know who you are as a business person. What does that mean? Are you a people pleaser? Do you have strict boundaries? How available are you? Do you write somebody right back, or do you make them wait a few hours? What hours do you work during the day? There's a million questions you need to know as a business person, and you don't really know what that looks like until you're down the road, until you have enough experience. I don't think anybody wakes up thinking, oh yeah, I want to be a slimy real estate agent. I want to be a loser of a real estate agent. I don't think anybody wakes up like that. But you can tell, as a real estate agent to another real estate agent, I can tell where their morals are and where their priorities are just through a few conversations, or especially during a transaction, which I will give you an example right now. This is why people think we get paid too much. So please don't be this person. I was in the middle, it was December 2024. I was in the middle of a transaction. I was talking to the listing agent about all the items that showed up on the inspection report, and my buyer asked the seller for $50,000 a $50,000 credit. Whatever she and I had discussed on the phone was supposed to be reflected in an addendum. Well, I received the addendum and it's not what we talked about at all. And I called her up and said, hey, whatever your name is, I thought we had a verbal agreement about what was going on the addendum, and the addendum doesn't reflect that. And here were her words. Oh yeah, I'm just so busy. I don't have time to review it. So I just had my TC write it and then she sent it off. I'm sorry. Somebody is paying you tens of thousands of dollars to represent them, and you don't have time for their paperwork, for their transaction, to negotiate on their behalf? I wanted nothing more than to call that seller and let him know what I had just experienced and what I had just heard from his real estate agent. Call me a tattletale, but she's the reason why people think that we are overpaid and why we are slimy. And she's the reason why we have a bad reputation, is because people like that are in so much of a hurry that they don't even have time for the business that they took on. So be the type of agent who reflects on your day, on conversations, on interactions, on transactions, to understand how you can improve. And then when you take a look back, you simply look back and say, this is going to now be my new standard, my new system. Don't let that hole stay open. Like, don't let things keep falling in the cracks. Just make it a decision that this is how you're going to operate. It's really simple. It's not hard at all. But most real estate agents do not treat their business like a business. They treat it transactionally. So they just move from one transaction to the next, and they think they're so busy. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into knowing who you are as a business person. So what do these two things have to do with defending your commission? This is your worth. This is who you are, what you bring to the table. What you bring to the table is not the list that you give the seller. Seller doesn't care about the list you give them. They want to feel confident in choosing you. They want to know why they should choose you and why you should be paid your full 3%. You have to convey that to them through experience, through the way you speak to them. No offense, new agents Oh my gosh, you guys are horrible on the phone. You need to practice your phone skills. You need to sound confident when you speak. But again, I understand that comes with experience. It's what comes first, right? But you have to practice. You are trying to sell this person on you. Every single real estate agent pretty much does the same thing. So why should they choose you? Why are you worth it? And I'm not saying you need to sit there and be so egotistical and cocky and like shove your achievements down somebody's throat, because that's also not what they want to hear. In the beginning of my career, I was so nervous to go to listing appointments because I mainly held open houses. I helped a lot of renters that turned into buyers down the road. So my business was mainly on the buy side. And one day I just woke up and was like, okay, I want to start taking listings. And I did. I started taking listings, but I didn't have a proper listing presentation in place. So when I got the appointment, the first few I went to by myself, I just floundered. I had no idea what to do. I didn't put a strategy in place because I didn't know where to get one, And I'm a Sagittarius. I hate asking for help. So I just wanted to figure it out on my own. Well, eventually I decided that, okay, I will bring somebody in who's more seasoned and they can get the business, but I'll stay the front person. Well, that didn't work either, because every single time I went on a listing appointment and I brought a seasoned agent with me, that seasoned agent sat and talked about all of their achievements. I was so bored. And furthermore, I was so embarrassed. I'm thinking to myself, this meeting is supposed to be about the seller and what we can do for the seller and why the seller should think we're so great. And instead you're talking about like what you have in the pipeline and what you closed. Gag me. Totally not my jam. I do not talk about those things. I think it's so cheesy and nobody cares except for you. I can promise you that. So I would speak to these sellers after the appointment, and guess what they'd say? Lauren, I really liked you and I would work with you, but I don't like him. So I can't work with you. And in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, how can I cut this person out? How can I get them out of the equation? Like, I just want the listing, But I can't. I made a commitment to this person. What am I supposed to go tell the seller? Oh, sorry, I got rid of my business partner when I faked having a business partner in the first place. Doesn't work like that. There's just so much to learn. So you need to figure out how to learn to be confident in your skill set and what you bring to the table and how you speak and how you present. It takes practice. It takes sitting down or writing an outline. Go do it. Learn the contract, study the contract, read it once a quarter. Read it once a month, really. But if you're not in real estate all day, every day, because you're on the newer side, you need to be reading your contract frequently. You need to understand what it means. And if you don't, we have all these AI tools now, but call your broker and find out. So why do I not negotiate my commission? I know that I want to protect, guide, and help every single buyer and seller that I can get my hands on from the slimy, immoral real estate agents. That's why I do this. And you need to figure out what your why is. There's nothing that can replace that. And I know that if I were to reduce my commission, I would still give, a 3%, right? We'll do it on commission statuses. I know I would still give a 3% job. I know that. I don't know how to tone it back. And because I know that I will always give 120 and I don't know how to give anything less, I just simply decided my commission's 3%. I've practiced saying it out loud so that I feel more comfortable saying it when somebody's specific, like I just did this on Friday. And what do you charge? I charge 3%. That's it. There's nothing to it. And if somebody says, oh, which I've never had this happen. I just hear this example all the time. Oh, I just interviewed 2 other people and they would do it for 2.5. Well, great. I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to do that. Because quite frankly, if they're going to be a PITA in the beginning, they're probably going to be a PITA the whole way through. And this is part of what you need to know as a business person. What will you tolerate? Are you going to tolerate someone treating you poorly, being condescending, being angry at you, right? This kind of bleeds into, which is a whole separate video, why you shouldn't take overpriced listings. There is just so much confidence that you have to bring to the table in order to just be perceived as a 3% agent. And that includes, hate to say it, the car you drive, your hygiene, how you look, how you present, how you smell. I went and bought a $1,000 listing outfit. I went to Neiman Marcus. I got all very expensive clothes. It's one less thing I have to think about. And this is a perfect example for what you should do. You don't need to go to Neiman Marcus and spend $1,000 if you don't have it, but I did have it at the time. So I wanted to make sure that I had something that made me look like a baller. And I go in, I have my Louboutins on, I have my nice pants, I have my nice jacket. I don't care if it's 120 degrees out, I'm wearing the damn jacket because it is a Chanel inspired. It's not Chanel, but it's just like that tweed. It's got big shoulder pads. I know I look like a boss walking in. And people are intimidated, and they have definitely told me like, wow, on the first meeting, I was so intimidated by you. But then I start speaking and I'm friendly. So it just immediately lowers anything they thought about me because of what I look like. But because I'm put together, there is an automatic assumption that I'm going to do a good job. And that's how it goes. But I also will. I go above and beyond. When I get a listing, I make sure that I cold call everybody in that neighborhood to tell them, hey, this house just came to the market. This condo just came to the market. Do you have anybody in your family or friends or at your office who are interested in moving into the neighborhood? That's the very first thing I do. Yes, we do open houses. Yes, we run Instagram ads, blah, blah, blah. We do all the things, but that is something that sets me apart because most people won't do that. They're not going to take the time. It's a double whammy. It's huge value to the seller because I get to send an email letting them know, I called X amount of people today. Here's how many people I sent your listing to. And they don't know, which they will now if they watch this video. That's a way for me to get business. I am double whammying this. I am doing something for my seller. And if they don't have anybody, I at least get to look like a rock star while I also might be potentially getting a listing. Hello? Why would you not do this? It's genius. So there's just these things that I do that are above and beyond that I know other people aren't doing. I've literally heard so many real estate agents say, I just put it on the MLS and wait. Like, again, you are the reason why people think we are paid way too much money. You send a market status update once a week? Cool. That's what everybody else is doing. What do you do to bring something different to the table? I don't mean go show the house yourself. That's not added value. The cold calling example is an added value. I am hitting people. I am talking to people that already love and believe in the neighborhood. So why not talk to them? Go door knock if it's not 111 degrees outside. You need to figure out what you can do to bring more value and use that as a talking point. You're trying to sell yourself. You're trying to help somebody. So that is why it's essentially just a decision for me. I decided I'm not taking less than 3%. I know people in my office that are taking 4%. They charge 7%. Well, I guess now we don't negotiate the buy side, but back in the day, they were charging 7%. People don't care. It is our livelihood. And we know, well, very few of us know how much we actually bring to the table. I think a lot of us think we bring a lot to the table, and a lot of us really don't. So these are all questions for you to ask yourself. Start putting this character into play. Who do you need to step into in order to be a better business person to serve your client? What is your why? And I hate that question. I think it's so dumb. But when I did sit and meditate, like I told you, it is, I need to help, protect, and guide every single buyer and seller so that they are not stuck in the hands of somebody immoral. And I truly believe that because I think majority of the people in our industry are losers. They are in it for the money. They are in it. They are showing houses with dollar signs in their eyeballs. And it's so obvious. Yes, you should buy this. Yes. Oh yeah. Yes, your house is worth this much. You ain't the exception. I hate to tell you, you're not the exception. You and your overpriced listing are not the exception. You need to figure out who you are, because when you work authentically to who you are, you will 100% attract attract the people that you are meant to work with, and they will be in your life for decades. I mean, I'm still working with and talking to some of my very first clients from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, depending on what city we're talking about. I'm still working with them. I've done countless transactions and they send me business. And that's the other thing. If somebody is a referral to you, you don't need to automatically reduce it. You reduce the person who referred you if they ever work with you, but you don't reduce your commission to a referral. You don't even know what kind of person they are. You don't even know if they're going to follow through. You don't know if they're going to betray you and like start working with someone else because you didn't answer your phone in time. You don't know them. You need to figure out all of these little things for yourself and who you are as a business person. Oh, I love this topic because it really just enmeshes the self-development piece, which is the foundation of who you are for your business. And you need to show up as the person you want to be, and don't be afraid to be that person.